Hello and welcome to How to Draw a Cute Cartoon Kitten Using Reference, Part 2. So far we've covered simplicity and making a graphic representation from your reference. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about design. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 20 years. Okay, now that we've got this graphic representation, let's get started on the next part. Number 2, when making something look cartoony, simple is best. When drawing something cute, a good rule of thumb is big eyes, little faces, small chubby bodies and limbs, etc. So here I am going to start talking about design, actually. Before I even, assuming that you want to draw a more solid drawing than this graphic, at this stage, it's probably best to start designing your drawing. Even if it's not solid, you want to start messing with it. You want to start finding out what you want your drawing to actually look like. Using this reference, I don't want an absolute perfect replica. What we're working on here is a cartoony version of what this drawing is. Correct? So we've got this graphic shape here, and what we want to do is design it so that it's cute. We want it to look cute, and we don't know how. Okay. There are cartoony rules of thumb, as I've already shared, that when making something look cartoony. So here's the thing. I'm going to recommend a book. Cartoon Animation Collector Series. This is a book by Preston Blair, and it talks about animation, but within the book there are all kinds of tips and tricks to drawing cartoon characters. So one of them is here. So here's his page on drawing cute characters, and these are all really great tips, So here it is, like head large in relation to the body. High forehead is very important. Eyes spaced low on the head, plus usually large and wide apart. So halfway below the head. See, look how big the forehead is here. Short arms, skinny. Arms are short and never skinny, and taper down to the hands and tiny fingers. Tubby bulge looks well here sometimes. So like all the fat legs, short tapering down into small feet from feet for type, protruding bulgy behind here. So we've got all kinds of like really good little tips on drawing cute cartoon characters. So I highly recommend this book. There's going to be an affiliate link in the description below if you want to pick the book up. So that's my first recommendation. Let's see if we can't use the Preston Blair cute recommendations to design the character or this little kitten so that he looks cuter. So let's reduce the opacity on this sucker, and let's see what we can do. So let's keep in mind that we're not doing, again, a representational version of this cat. So we are going to want to push all these shapes that we've got here, all these things. They are just too representational. We want to think in design terms, using the Preston Blair rules of thumb, but thinking about design. If you don't know much about design, I do have a lesson in my drawing website where I go over the principles of design, at first using stick figures and then using flat shapes. Okay? So ideally, if you really want to learn more about design overall, I highly recommend you go to thedrawingwebsite.com, go to the Level 0 lessons, and inside the Level 0 lessons you will find lessons on design, one with stick figures and one with flat shapes. Okay? And those are kind of the principles I'm going to be having in the back of my mind when working on this kitten. Okay, so we've got this, and the ideal situation that we want to have, because he's a she's a cute kitten. Maybe we want an even bigger head. Remember, Preston Blair said that there's a bit they have like big round heads, and even more so, big forehead. So we want that there to be more forehead than than face. Now I like to draw big eyes. We're not going to draw anatomically correct eyes right here. We are just putting in shapes as to where the eyes are. Okay? This is just me putting eyes. I could change my mind anytime I want, but that's what I'm doing so far. Now, let's just, because we want this to be cute, we want less face. We want all the face to be concentrated very small. Just make this as tiny as possible. Okay? And how about let's chop off more face. Let's make it so that her face is barely on her face on that head. And there's gigantic forehead. So we're taking some artistic license here, as we ought. And then ears. Let's see. Well, when we look at it, the ears are pretty proportional. What if I do tiny ears? Does that look cute? How about big floppy ears? Does that look cute? So I don't know which is better. I think maybe big ones look better than the little ones, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're still playing around, just pushing things. Right now, there's nothing solid about this drawing. Like I said, I'm just putting things where I think they ought to be. Okay, so now we've got this body. This body is proportional, and we don't want it to be proportional. We want to be cute. So let's see. How about making this exact same thing, but itty bitty? So let's take our original shapes, and making this teeny tiny. Like shrink it so much that the entire body is about as big, almost as big as the head. You see what I'm saying? Like, look how big the head is. Look how big the body is. Let's say it's just a touch longer than the head, but we want it to be kind of in that ballpark, in that kind of, they're almost the same size. That makes her head humongous, or its head, I don't know. I keep saying her or him on the kitty cat. So now we're just playing with shapes here. Okay. This very, very teeny tiny tail. See, so I'm just playing with shapes at this point, see? But now we've got a much, much, much cuter cat based on this reference. And all we did was play around with the shapes. Do you see? And this isn't even a solid drawing. This is just graphics so far. We've got a circle. We've got two triangles here. We've got ellipses. I shouldn't say circles. These are ellipses, ellipses. This is a Y and another little Y. It's basically this. I just put that there just to indicate that there's a face there. And then this is pretty much the same graphic shape that we came when we were doing the observational drawing. It's just a graphic silhouette shape, just like this one. It's exactly the same thing that we did in the first part of the video. We just made it, change the proportions, following a little bit more of the Preston Blair. So, big head, big forehead, no neck, fat limbs, and then trying to at some level make it a little bit tubbier, a little chubbier, and the proportions that I actually gave, instead of having the proportions of the actual cat, which is a small head and big body like this, I took the body and I made the body almost the exact same size as the head. It perhaps is a little bit longer, just to add variation, because otherwise if you have the head and the body look the same, it might psychologically feel monotonous. So it's better to err in the side of one being a little bit bigger than the other. I could have just as easily made the body smaller than the head, but they're about-ish the same size. Okay? That's how you play around with design, how you mess around with proportions, and you take something that is naturalistic in your reference, and then you can make it more cartoony just by exaggerating elements and messing with elements. Remember, I drew a smaller set of ears, tested it, didn't like it, made a bigger set of ears. I like that more. So there's no absolutes here. You just play around and play around. So that's what I've got for this part of the video. It's very simple idea. So, okay. So that's all I've got for this video. In the next video, we're going to be talking about adding a little bit more solidity, and yes, we're going to be talking about anatomy and animal anatomy and all this other stuff, because you cannot escape it when you're doing even cartoon characters. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that next time. If you enjoyed this video, I highly encourage you to become one of my patrons. Besides the fact that you're supporting me and making it so that I want to make even more videos, you also, the benefit is that you get to see the videos before everybody else does. And on top of that, if you have a question that you want me to answer, you get first dibs. All my patrons get first dibs. You could ask me anything, even if you're not a patron, and I will answer the question. I have many videos that have been asked by non-patrons, but the thing is that you will not get your answers as quickly as the patrons will. So I highly recommend becoming a patron for that benefit, and for not having to wait months before you get to see the newest videos. Okay, so I'll see you next time. All right, bye.